Hey everyone. So my name is Rainer Fadila. Here with we have Nurfata, Ahmad, and Defano from Group 6. And today we are presenting motivation theory and practice. So as I said before, here are the members and the NPM numbers. So for this presentation, the table of content we will present are individual needs and motivation, process theories of motivation, reinforcement theory, and finally, motivation and job design. So I'll be presenting about individual needs and motivation. Here I'll be talking about the hierarchy of needs theory, where the lower order needs refers to psychological, safety, and social needs in Maslow's hierarchy, whereas the higher order needs refers to the esteem and self-actualization needs in Maslow's hierarchy. So to be blunt and direct, Maslow principle to needs behavior is that the deficit principle states that a satisfied need does not motivate behavior. However, a progression principle states that a need isn't activated until the next lower level need is satisfied. So by the progression principle, it's about going step by step, where if you are not able to complete level 2, you may not proceed to level 3. That's an example I'll give. And motivation accounts for the level direction and persistence of effort expended at work. Need is an unfulfilled psychological or psychological desire, where, as you can see here, what satisfies the higher order needs, the self-actualization needs, and the esteem needs are referring to the hierarchy of needs theory. And the lower order needs refers to the social, safety, and psychological needs, as said prior. So here are the ERG theories that refers to the extension 3 Maslow categories. Existence needs is the desires for physical well-being, so for keeping yourself healthy and everything else. Related needs refers to desires for good interpersonal relationships. And growth needs are desires for continued psychological growth and development. The ERG theory doesn't accept the progression principle that certain needs must be satisfied before other needs. The progression principle that was referred to me, talking about the Maslow principle, to be more direct. Instead, it suggests the various needs that can influence individual behavior at any given time. ERG theories also replace the deficit principle with frustration regression principle, where it states that an already satisfied need can become reactivated when a higher level need is blocked. So here are the two-factor theory. The first one I'm talking about is satisfier theory, satisfier factor. A satisfier factor is found in job content such as challenging and exciting work, recognition, responsibility, advancement opportunities, or personal growth, referring to the Maslow principle prior, where this theory is to be satisfied with your work and then you're to grow as a person from it. The hygiene factor is found in the job context, such as working conditions, interpersonal relationships, your working conditions, your working partners, organizational policies, and compensation. Next slide. Acquired needs theory is the need. The first I'll be talking about, based from the McClellan. According to McClellan, is that the first one is need for achievement, the desire to do something better, to solve problems, or to master complex tasks. The second one is need for power, that refers to the desire to control, influence, or be responsible for other people. Need for affiliation, the desire to establish and maintain good relations with people. So how McClellan distinguishes between two forms of the power need. The first one, as said prior, the need for personal power is different with the need for power, where the need for personal power is exploitative, and involves manipulation for the pure sake of personal growth and gain. The need for social power, however, is the opposite of that, where it uses the power to be the power is used in a socially responsible way, and that is directed towards group or organizational objectives rather than just their own personal gains. Next slide.
So here's the second one. There's process theories of motivation. Next slide. So, and this equity theory means that we are compared between personal outcomes and other outcomes. So, when we are compared between personal outcomes and other outcomes, there will be a two result: perceived equity and perceived inequity. In the first, perceived equity means that the individual is satisfied and there's no change behavior. And perceived inequity means that the individual feel discomfort and acts eliminate to the inequity. And from the inequity, there are two types: over reward inequity and under reward inequity. First, for over reward inequity means that it's a positive, commonly described as positive inequity, means that an individual perceive that rewards are more than what they've been done. But on the other hand, under reward inequity means that it's negative inequity. So it gives less reward to someone who has worked more than others. Next. And then this expectancy theory, there are three stages in this expectancy theory. The first is after they decided to do the job. The first is expectancy. A person believes that working hard will result in a desired level of task performance being achieved. Next one is instrumentally, happens after the task has been performed. The instrumentally believes a person believes that successful performance will be followed by reward and other work-related outcomes. And the last one would be balance, means that the value of a person assigned to the possible rewards and other work-related outcomes. And here's goal setting theory. There are some way to make goals in organization. There are six steps to making goals. And first is set specific goals, set challenging goals, build goals acceptance and commitment, clarify goals priorities, provide feedback on goal accomplishment, and last one, rewards goal accomplishment. And also there are two type again, goal setting participation and goal setting downside. First is goal setting participation, when a manager and team member join a participative process of goal setting and performance review, members are likely to experience greater motivation. So this is the manager happens to be like a motivator to their employees. And the participation increase understanding of task goal, increase acceptance and commitment to them, and creates more readiness to receive feedbacks on goal accomplishment. And last one is goal setting downside. This is caused by a poor management could give a negative effect on work. There are probably some cause from this occurrence. First is the goals are unrealistically high, or maybe try to achieve high goals again and over again. And last one is probably the organization doesn't provide with enough supports. And this is self-efficacy theory. Self-efficacy theory refers to a person belief that she or he is capable of performing a specific task. As you can see, there are 4 ways to increase self-efficacy, which contain with an active mastery, emotional arousal, vigorous modeling, and verbal persuasion. And we first talk about an active mastery means that gains confidence through positive experience. Vicarious modeling means that learning by observing others. Verbal persuasion from others to encourage us to perform the task. Emotional arousal when we are highly stimulated or energized to perform well in a situation.
Next. For the third subtopic, the reinforcement theory. Next. Reinforcement theory or law of effect is behavior that result in a pleasant outcome is likely to be repeated, and behavior that result in a pleasant outcome is not likely to be repeated. This law underlines the concept of operant conditioning or process of applying the law of effect to control behavior by manipulating its consequences. Its goal is to use reinforcement principles to reinforce desirable work behavior and discourage undesirable work behavior. Next. Reinforcement strategies. There are four strategies of reinforcement: positive and negative reinforcement, punishment, and extinction. Note that positive and negative reinforcement strengthen desired work behavior. Punishment and extinction weaken or eliminate undesirable behaviors. Starting with positive and negative, it will increase the frequency of desirable behavior by making a pleasant consequence on its occurrence. But for negative reinforcement, it will do so by making avoidance of an unpleasant consequence. On the other hand, the punishment and extinction decreases the frequency or eliminate it by making an unpleasant consequence on its occurrence. For extinction, it removes the pleasant consequence of its occurrence. Positive reinforcement deserves special attention. The power of positive reinforcement is governed by two laws: law of contingent reinforcement and law of immediate reinforcement. Law of contingent reinforcement states that for a reward to have maximum reinforcing value, it must be delivered only if desire is exhibited. And law of immediate reinforcement states that the more immediate delivery of reward after the occurrence, the greater the reinforcing value of the reward. Next.
Okay, next I'm going to explain how job design and work schedule helps with motivation. Next slide, please. Okay, so first, how job design affects motivation. So job designing is a process of assigning tasks to an equally particular job by equally considering the interdependency of those tasks with the other jobs. Job design practices can influence the work motivation and the performance of the employees by increasing the work efficiency through job specialization. Next slide. So next, how job design affects motivation. First one is job simplification. The job simplification means breaking the job into relatively easier subparts with the intention to enhance the individual's productivity by minimizing the physical and mental efforts required to perform that complex job. One way to eliminate this problem is through automation, the total mechanization of the job. Another way to deal with job simplification is job rotation. It gives workers more variety by periodically shifting them between jobs. Also, job enlargement increases task variety by combining one or two jobs that was previously assigned to another worker. Next one is job enrichment. It is a process of that is characterized by adding dimensions to existing jobs to make them more motivating. Example of job enrichment includes extra tasks, also called job enlargement, increasing skill variety, adding meaning to the jobs, creating autonomy, and giving feedback. Next slide. So job characteristics model. Since job enrichment may not be for everyone, job characteristics model focuses attention on the extent which of these 5 characteristics are present or absent in a job. First one is skill variety. It is a degree which a job requires a variety of different activities to carry out the work. Second one is task identity, which is the job requires a completion of a whole and identifiable piece of work that involves or doing one job from the beginning to the end. Third one is task significance, which is the job has a substantial impact on the lives of or work of other people elsewhere in the organization. The fourth is autonomy, the degree to which the job gives individual freedom, independence, and discretion in scheduling work and choosing procedures for carrying it out. Last one is feedback from the job itself, which is work activities required by the job result in individual obtaining direct and clear information on his or her performance. Next slide. Okay, next. How does a work schedule affects motivation? So advantages for employees and existing employees when the employer allows the employees to work flexibly, whether the flexible work schedule involves compressing work days, flexible daily hours, or telecommunicating. Challenges exist for the employers and the employees. These challenges multiplied in the spring of 2020 as unheard number of employees for reasons of safety started working from home remotely. Next slide, please. So alternative work schedules. First of all, we can do flexible schedules. With flexible work schedules, employees stand to experience a good number of benefits. One of them is that workers point to first in the flexibility to meet their family needs, personal obligation, and life responsibility conveniently. Second one is compressed work week. A compressed work week is any work schedule that allows a full-time job to be completed in less than a standard 5 days of 8-hour shifts. Third one is job sharing. Job sharing splits one full-time job between 2 or more persons. This can be done in a variety of ways, from half-day to weekly or monthly sharing arrangements. Organization benefits by employing talented people who are unable or unwilling to commit to a full-time job. The last one is telecommunicating, an agreement that allows at least a portion of work schedule hours to be completed outside the office. It is facilitated by computers and smart devices that allow easy electronic links with customers and coworkers. Next slide. Oh, well, that's all for our presentation. Thank you for your attention.